People have a lot of questions about my guitar setups, and whether you're a guitarist or a non-guitarist, it seems like there's always some curiosity about, do you do something different to your guitar because you play it differently? And essentially my guitars are set up very similar to the way anyone would set up their acoustic guitar. And when I talk about the setup of the guitar, the most important element of setting up a guitar is the height of the strings at the nut and at the saddle, and the gauge of the strings. So I'm going to fill you in on what I do, at least on this guitar, and we'll take a look at a couple of my other guitars as well. On this guitar, I'm using just the Diodario J17 medium gauge phosphor bronze strings, and they run 56 to 013. And what I mean by that is the lowest pitched string is a .056 diameter, and the highest pitched is a .013 diameter. So in guitar lingo, it's 56 to 13. And the one thing that I do that is a touch different than like a flat picking guitar player, like a bluegrass guitar player would not like the way that I have my guitars set up. And the reason for that is that I have the height of the strings at the nut here significantly lower than a lot of guys who strum aggressively on their guitar would like to have theirs. They would like, if you strum aggressively with a flat pick on your guitar, you'll get a lot of buzzing if your strings are as low as mine are. I don't do any aggressive flat picking on this guitar, so I have the option and the freedom on this guitar to have my setup guy, Ron Tracy at Hoffman Guitars here in Minneapolis, set the height of these strings rather low to the fingerboard. And similarly, at the saddle here, he's also got these fairly low so that as they cross the 12th fret, they're not too terribly high. I don't know if you can get a good look at that. I haven't measured it with a micrometer lately. I should have called Ron before I shot this so I could tell you exactly how many hundredths of an inch they are above at the 12th fret. But as a general statement about how I set my guitars up, because the tapping style is less aggressive in the amount of string excursion, the excursion of the string, the movement of the string is a lot less than it would be if I was aggressively strumming it. I do keep it rather low at the nut and rather low at the saddle, and that would be called the Billy setup. When I send students over to Ron to get their guitars set up, they ask for the Billy setup, and that just means it's a little extra low at the nut and a little extra low at the saddle. Now that's on this guitar. I'm going to grab another guitar, and this guitar is in a kind of a crazy tuning. This one is, and I'll run through it here real quickly. It's in low D, A, D, E, B, and then a low A. So again, D, A, D, E, B, A. And the A, which is on where the highest pitched string normally would be, is a whole step lower than the second string. So I actually string this guitar with an additional 017 where the 013 used to be. And that's because the lower tension due to the lower pitch really requires that you give it a thicker string to maintain good tone and for the thing to not just slap and buzz every time you hit it. So, but this guitar is another guitar that I use really strictly for tapping, and so it's lower at the nut and a little bit lower at the saddle. One of the things that we wanted to also get a handle on is one of my effect settings, which we didn't get to when we were talking about the electronic piece, because I really wanted to demonstrate this with the guitar. And so I'm going to grab this dreadnought of mine and plug it in quick, and I'm going to give you a quick demonstration on my chorus pedal feature. The chorus pedal is the unit that that's responsible for creating that stereo signal. And most of the time, you'll have guys playing with a chorus that's set somewhat like this. It's a very noticeable chorus effect. Pat Metheny is famous for that Roland jazz chorus sound on a lot of his recordings. And if we take a quick look at the settings on the pedal, if we can zoom in, if you can follow me in here, it's very typical to have a chorus pedal set with a significant amount of speed, and that's the speed with which the chorus puts it in and out of tune, and to have a significant width on that sound. I want to show you what I do with mine. I turn the width all the way up so that it's pushing the additional tone as far out of tune as the unit will do. But then I take the speed and I turn it so that it's doing that as slowly as possible. And what that does, I don't know if you can hear that difference. That's my sound with a very slow speed. Now I'm going to increase that speed and do it the way a lot of guys would do it. See here where you can really hear that chorus now? Now I'm going to slowly, gradually adjust it back to my favorite setting. So in a way, I'm using a chorus, but I'm using it in the most unobtrusive way possible, and to simply try to create a little bit of depth when it comes to projecting this sound in an amplified way. And again, we're back to this question, is Billy an acoustic guitar player, or is he an electric guitar player, or is he somewhere in the middle? And I don't mind being in the middle of that debate. I think I'm somewhere in the middle, and it's a place I like to be. So there you have it, a little bit about the guitar setups, and we'll come back and talk about altered tuning